Well, friends, now that we have successfully created our engagement area, it's time to move on to the next element, that is analytics. So analytics is one of the most important features of your virtual event, and it's also a strong selling point because compared to a live event, compared to an on-ground event, on a virtual event, it is quite simple to track your user behavior at every step of the journey. And it's very simple to set that up as well. All you need to do is click on Google Analytics under the reporting tag here. When you do that, it should open a window, and all you have to do is click on Add Google Settings, and that is going to ask for a tracking ID. To get this tracking ID, we're going to have to create a Google Analytics account. So we're going to go ahead and do that now. We're going to quickly log into our analytics account here, and I'm just going to go ahead and put the password for that, and that should take me to my account. Just wait for that to load, and there you go. This is the first thing that you're going to see. What you want to do here now is click on setup for free, and that should take you to this window here, which has 3 steps. The first of them is setting up your account. So you're going to have to name your account, and I'm going to call my account demo/Platoo. The second step that you see is a bunch of options, certain default settings that Google pops up to you for data sharing. You do not want to change anything there, and just simply click on next. The next option that you see is this page here, where you can select from web, apps, or both. So web is basically when you want to track a web platform, and apps is when you're using an app to track your user behavior. So since we'll be tracking a web platform, that is our front end, that is demo.platoo.in, we'll want to go ahead with that option. Simply click on next and put in your website name, which is Platoo, and we're going to have to put in the URL, which is nothing but your front end URL. That is where your audience is going to be logging in from and spending their time interacting with your virtual event. So that is what we want to track, and I'm going to paste that here, and this is something that is preset. So we're going to remove that from the URL, and I'm going to go ahead and select an industry. So you can select any one of the industry from this drop down here. Let's go ahead with arts and entertainment for now, and let's put in the reporting time to India, because I'm creating this page from India, and that is the reporting time zone for me. So I'm going to go ahead and click on these boxes here, and that should take me to my dashboard. So once you're on your dashboard, these are some of the things that you want to configure. So you can always opt to download the Google Analytics mobile app, which comes in handy when you want to track your user behavior while running a live virtual event. Now that you're on to this page, what this does is it creates a property by default for you. You can always create a new property, but we've already created a property by the name of Platoo. So this is the property that I want to link to my admin portal, and to do that, all you have to do is copy the tracking ID from here and paste that here, and just as simple as that, and you have created your tracking Google Analytics tracking ID, which is now active on your front end. And now we're going to learn how to see that user interaction, how to see that user behavior data. So what you would want to do next is click on home right here, and that should take you to this page over here. So right now you see that all of this is set to 0 because we've just added this onto our page. So we're going to learn what all of these options here are and the different kind of data that you can get from these set of options right here. Now that we have made that Google tracking ID active onto our front end, it's time to go back to analytics and see how we can actually source that data from here. So the first thing that you would need to know is that in case you miss your tracking ID the first time, you can always click on admin right here and then go into, so this is your account, so all of your account settings and all of that can be changed from here, and this is your property. Now if we want to get the tracking code again, all we have to do is click on tracking info and go to tracking code, and that should open that window again for you. So you get your tracking ID from here. This is the code that we have put onto our backend on our admin portal. And in case if we want to check if the traffic from our front end is being correctly received into Google Analytics, we can always send a traffic test. Now what this does is it opens up that page for you, and you just need to make sure that this is the page that opens for the URL that you had just put in. So this shows that our traffic is being moved correctly between the two sources, and we can go back to home now and start looking at the data. So it says one active user, that is me, that I'm logged into my front end as a user. So that is what you're seeing here. If you click on audience overview, this is this is the section where you can actually track your user behavior and all its details. So it says one active user, it gives you the date and time, and it gives you a timeline across all the different dates that you would want to be tracking your user. You can set this to a particular day, or you can change that to an hourly basis as well, a week or a month. So that completely depends on the kind of timeline that you want to generate here. And you can obviously go and select a metric from here as well. So we're going to quickly cover what all of these are and what do they mean. So to do that, I'm going to show you this section here that says users, new users, sessions, and number of sessions per user. Now this is nothing but the number of users that navigate to your page, which in this case is 0 right now. New users are, if you have a new user on, let's say October 5, so you would get that information here that you have so many new users on that particular day. Session is the amount of time that your user would be sending on your page. So one user can create 2 or more sessions by logging in repetitively throughout the day. So that would be reflected here, and this is the number of sessions per user. So this is an average that you get, and of course your page views and pages and sessions that you can get here. And then you have your average session duration and bounce rate. Now bounce rate is something that is related to the users that log on to your page. Now the bounce rate is when the user navigates back without interacting any of your page elements. So a bounce rate for 10 users that I have, if 5 of them choose to navigate away from the page without clicking on any of the options or events, you would have your bounce rate set at 50% in that case. Here is where you get your demographics. So you would normally see a map here for an active page, and you will see the country and the city as well to see where your traffic is coming from, the system that they're using, and also the mobile operating software, the mobile operating system, the OS. So all of that can be tracked from right here. What you're seeing here now is just asked a few of my colleagues to quickly jump onto my front end, that is demo.platoo.in, and now we now you can see that we've got 3 active users. So 3 people have logged on to demo.platoo.in, and I can even see on which page, the top active pages that they are, and this is constantly changing. This is dynamic. So what you're seeing here is the top active pages that users are present in. So I've got 2 active users in engagement zone, and this actually changes in real time. So this is the real-time report that you can generate by clicking on that section there, and it shows you the active users on your site. It shows you the page view per minute, and you can actually track the amount of time that each page view has gotten. And this can show you the active page for that particular session. And you've got your active users here. Since all of us are we're in the same office, it's picking up the same location here. So this is a Google Analytics account that is linked to a website that has a lot of high traffic. So this should give you statistics as to how your reports are going to be looking. So like we discussed, the number of users that went onto your page were through 238, and the number of users that created particular sessions were 286. The bounce rate was 50%. So 50% of this number that you see here navigated away from the page. But because we're looking at a single page website that is linked on here, that is not a major issue, because there is no button here or no event created to purchase or buy. And this is the average session duration that each person is spending, 1 minute and 22 seconds on your page. And this gives you a timeline of the users on that particular date for this month. So if I click on audience overview, that is going to go to my audience tag, and that is going to give me all these options. And you have a detailed graph here in terms of returning visitors and new visitors. So you can see that new visitors have increased in this column here, and you have all these details that you will ever need in terms of user behavior, the language that they've been using, the US, India. All of that feature is displayed here, and you can also take out the browser details from here. So maximum of my users have logged in from Chrome. So it's very easy to get all of that information here, and I can see that Android users are more compared to the iOS users. So if I were to launch a mobile version of my website, I would go ahead with my Android clients first, because they have been showing that much interest onto my page. And then of course all of these values are something that you can get from your page here. So there's like a whole bunch of options here, and once you see a couple of tutorials on how to generate reports, it makes your job very easier. But to give you a glimpse, everything that you need will be available under the overview section of each tab. So demographics overview, it's going to show you the sex ratio, and it's going to show you the age. And if I click on audience overview, it's going to give me all the information that I need. Again, with acquisition, that is acquiring new clients, new users in this page. This is going to show you the difference in terms of the channels that you have been receiving. So direct, social, organic reach, and referral. So we've got maximum of direct users who have just entered the website and navigated to it. And then you have your social media clicks through your paid campaigns, and of course organic search, which is people who have found you through Google search or any search application. And then because there are no goals set on the website, you're not going to get that data, but everything else that you're going to need is available here in all its detail. Now when I click on behavior, it's going to give me that overview as well. And there you go. This is very important when it comes to a virtual event, because this shows me where my users have been spending their maximum amount of time. So you can see that the first page, that is the landing page, has been getting the most interest here. So it's very easy to track all of that through here. And when I click on behavior flow, what that is going to do is it's going to create this interesting sort of a chart that shows my user journey and the first interaction that they're doing, and you can see your users as a group in terms of the navigation point that they're choosing to take, and you can see these lines here. So this is the landing page, this is your starting page, this is your first interaction point and a second interaction point, and finally the end result. So you can see how many users ended up on that page, and you can see where did they go from there. And that becomes very easy and simplified to track from here in terms of user behavior. So this is again something that is going to be very important for us to use in virtual events data mapping, and you can of course select and export this document as well. So that makes your job of tracking your user behavior and your real-time data as well, which is again something that is going to be very important for live events, to track that particular window which is set to this particular moment here for now, and I can of course change that to, and it's very easy to track your particular real-time data in terms of the users that you're getting and in terms of the traffic that they're generating. So all of that is very easy to do with Google Analytics, which unlocks a whole world of possibilities in terms of tracking your user behavior, user journey onto your page.